Good morning. I'm Richard McIntosh. I work for Watercare Services. And what we're going to talk to Farzam and I this morning is just a bit of our digital journey. We had a few drinks last night as a speaker welcome, and I came away from that feeling pretty nervous because everyone I spoke to said, we're really looking forward to the session tomorrow. And I walked away thinking, crap, if they're expecting answers, we've finished it, here's how you do it, a complete plan. You probably wasted your time sitting here. But what we thought it was really important to do is take you through what we are trying to do at Watercare, and then just give you some of our reflections. So we'll go through our digital journey, and like I say, I want to try and get to the reflections as quickly as possible. That's Farzam. So this picture here, there's a lot on it. Put really simply, this is trying to depict what we have to do at Watercare. So we have 1.7 million customers through the Auckland region. We have to serve them every day with clean, reliable water and wastewater services. We have a massive capital programme. So currently we're looking through the major projects alone. It's about a $5 billion spend over the next 10 years. But what we sat back in 2018, and the team at Watercare decided you cannot deliver that amount of capital doing things in a traditional way. So that was when the enterprise model idea was born. And what it's all about is trying to create some certainty for our partners, create innovation, create thinking at a program level, so that we can really change the dial and look, how do we deliver better. So there's a lot feeds into that. We are 3 years on the journey, but the reality is this is, I kind of look at this is not a transformation project, this is a paradigm shift in how we deliver. So we're still working hard. Thanks, Farzam.
And every time when we talk about we want to be successful, or we want to be fast, or we want to be digital, how do you want to measure it? The first step that we did at Enterprise Model, we set some goals to be able to keep ourselves accountable with respect to these goals that we have. By 2024, our objective is to reduce our carbon footprint of our projects by 40%. We want to minimize our costs by 20%. And every year, we want to minimize our health and safety challenges, issues, and injuries by 20%. So we set these goals to be able to measure ourselves every month.
Cool. So I'll dwell a little bit on this, but as we all know, every risk has an opportunity on the other side of it. But on the left-hand side are some of the key things we're looking at. It's been quite interesting. I've had a few conversations in the last sort of day round about resource. So the pipeline that New Zealand's facing, getting resource to deliver, that's massive. So what you start to quickly realise is we have to do things differently. We can't keep doing now. You can recruit up to a point, but after that, it's all about how do we really change the way we deliver. So on the risk side, that's straight into the opportunities. This is where we're looking at allocation. So we have 6 partners. Watercare and Stantec in what we call the strategy and planning space. We have Beca, WSP in the design delivery, and they're coupled up with Fletcher and Fulton Hogan. So as a partnership alongside Watercare, we've allocated that 10 years worth of work so that we can start to look at things not on a job by job, but at a program level, right through from how do you get material benefits, how do we achieve 40% carbon, but how do we develop people, how do we bring people into our model, into our sector and give them a career in that. So the digital delivery for us is one of those pillars that we have to deliver it. We've heard some really cool stuff this morning about efficiency and how that all maps through. That's just a given for us. There's no way we can deliver what we need to without that sitting in there. Culture. So this is a hugely passionate area for me because I genuinely believe we can have the best tools, the best systems in the world, but unless you understand that people need to buy into that, they're never going to work. Rob Butchell at Morning Tea there was saying your best systems, not good people, you'll not get anywhere. Good people, not so great systems, you'll start to make things happen. So truly believe in that. And I think when you start to look at this culture change piece, people need to understand the why. Now, to me, that's multidimensional. So you look at what does it mean for me in the job I'm doing, but everyone has a different why. So what we are really working hard is on how do you turn this into information. So we've done a digital delivery, a digital design on something. How do you turn that and sell that story in a language that everyone can understand to start connect with that and realize that digital is a way of working. It's not just a standalone innovation.
The values that we extracted so far, and some of lessons that we learned, is that digital, the values that it can add, is literally, it's a cycle. And during program management, our objective is to make sure we have reliable information and reports that our program managers, project managers can check our progress, can check the way that we operate and compare it against that goals 40-20-20 that I shared with you. During design, the significant value that we extracted is about all collaboration. How we can collaborate better, how we can create informations that not just use it for construction, be able to utilize it during life cycle of our assets. And that's the goal that we are really focusing on. We don't want to create informations that we just use it for months or 2 or 6 months. We want to create digital information that we just keep reusing and recycling. And those informations can be used for safety in design, collaboration, visual communication, automation, etc. During construction, the biggest value so far that we extracted is about rehearsal. How we can make sure that we minimize risk. We are testing the exercises on site. How we can make sure, as Paul mentioned, he never received a model or digital data that he can build on, but that's what we do at Enterprise Model. Our models are deliverables. We use them for construction, and we use them for handover of information for life cycle management as well. And asset management, what we learned that we can do is always in the water sector, when construction completed, there is a phase of commissioning. And traditional way that we used to work, even 3 years ago, that when construction finalized, we start going to site and start capturing information related to that specific assets or facilities that we have on site. What we do recently is that as soon as we install a pump on site, we capture data. We capture asset information. As soon as we install a valve, we capture information. And all data will be populated and pushed to a cloud-based environment, virtual environment, that all our program managers, all our commissioning teams, construction teams have access. So that transparency was another key figure that we extracted.
Cool, thanks Farzam. So just picking up from that, one of the fascinating, or the things that makes me most proud as we're starting to get the teams coming up with this stuff. So my job is not to sit down and lead a digital strategy or lead a procurement strategy or program initiatives. It's actually about making sure we create an environment for people to be able to do that. So one of the examples, we've got a project up north in Auckland. The team have been doing the construction rehearsal. We've seen around about a $500,000 reduction on craneage just by doing that rehearsal and thinking about where you can get cranes in and out. So what we're seeing there, it's awesome that the teams on the ground are picking this stuff up. So it's not about, it's getting that down. That's where you get the real success. What that meant was, and I'll include Farzam and one of those key drivers, because what we did was sit down at maybe, I think it was October last year, and said, look, we keep playing around the edges of this. We've got 3 or 4 really good examples of our digital delivery. How do we bring that together, and how do we get it into what we do? So those 5 documents that you see, those are what we refer to as our digital foundation documents. What they do, they are a first draft, if you like, of how do we bring all the stuff that we've done, bring it together and make sure that we embed that into what we do. So this is a very firm reinforcement for the progress versus perfection. You know, you could probably spend a year polishing these up, but for us it was about, we've done this, it's not perfect, but let's move forward. And I think one of the really important things that underpins Enterprise Model is we have an incentive regime around what we do, and the digital delivery is one of those key results areas that's incentivized. We've developed a 10-year journey map, so again, we're at in the bottom step, if you like, of those 10, but we're starting, and this has been an awesome point to begin.
When we develop this document, one thing that we always focused on is practicality. We stayed away from buzzwords, fancy solutions. We want something that everyone with any level of understanding about technology, about digital delivery, be able to work with it, to be able to implement it. And the outcomes. I love outcomes, and at the same time, I don't like unpracticality. So next couple of slides, we are going to share with you what we managed to do so far, despite we failed so many times as well, but that's all agile improvement is all about. Try fast, learn fast, share what we learn, and just keep going. On one of our projects, we had a very critical asset to install. An asset, that size of it and weight of it was 15 tons, and what needed to be fully prefabricated and needed to be installed. And to install it, we needed to cut and shut down the main water pipeline to our plant, a pipeline that supports water for a population of 1.2 million people. It was a significant risk for us, and we had just 2 days to be able to do it. Our approach to do it was that every step of installations we tested digitally. We had workshops that in that virtual workshops, we had our welders that tell us how they need to weld it, our commissioning team that shared what's the expectation, the operation teams talk about the pressures. And long story short, even we identified the location on pipes that we need to cut digitally. And what we achieved, we had 2 days that we said that if we could do it, it was fantastic. We managed to do this exercise in just 9 hours. And that can be an example of how we can use simple processes to get valuable outcomes. And at the same time, we shared that we are all about our goals, 40-20-20, how we can measure them. And that's what we do. We used to deliver projects for Watercare for 50 years, 60 years, and we compare our data that what we do now compared to what we did 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, for a simple project, we needed just purely the number of RFIs that we used to receive during 5 months time frame for a project approximately $20 million capital value was about 250 RFI. The current number that we have is less than 100. And at the same time, what we learned is that has a direct impact on cost. The cost of that exercise, it used to be $400K. Now it's just below $150K.
Cool. Seeing the 5-minute mark, we'll skip over this quite quickly, but all this is doing, there's a couple of photos there that show you 2 sites, and you can see the dates on them, so that it's a pretty impressive shift. We would never have been able to achieve the change in those photos over that time frame without the digital design, digital delivery combined being involved in that.
And this outcome is the one thing that I'm most proud of, is empowering our people. It's all digital about. It's a culture. And we used to here, and I used to believe that the supply chain won't be able to cope with the expectations that we have. And I was wrong. I believe we are wrong if we think like that. The supply chain can cope with it, can deliver if we don't throw 600 pages of requirements to them. If we hold their hands, if we support them, they can deliver. And this project, anything that is blue, designed and developed by our primary design partners, anything in purple or red is elements that are supply chain provided. Some of them just provided a pump, but they could provide digital informations that can be imported to our digital ecosystem.
Awesome. So like I say, I'll whip through this. I'll pick a few. The first one for me is actually one of the key ones. It's about having the courage to try something. And I think we operate, because it's public health as an organization, we are risk averse, quite risk averse, and then engineers usually are. So I think that courage, that ability to step off the ledge and trust that we'll get there is really important. I think that culture barrier, so this is a people journey, and you know, we've got all these fantastic things that we've heard about this morning, but this comes back to engaging and leading people. I mentioned it's not an innovation, this is a way of working, so this is not something that you put digital over there, it actually is how we do things. Client maturity, I'll be quite blunt about that. We are really immature as an overall client, because that understanding of how do you take something, how do you turn that from a build solution into a TOTEX and a digital twin that you actually operate your system with, and how you build beyond the build. And then the last one, there's that value realization. So I think that's probably one of the biggest barriers to people understanding what this means for what we do, is being able to come up with that value realization that hits a number of different points and resonates with many different audiences.
At 1 p.m., please join Richard and I at a conversation corner, and we are happy to take your answer. It's digital community. My last minutes I'm going to use. I'm not going to share anything, but Richard and I, we want to take a memory, and we want to take a selfie with all of you, if it's okay. So please, Richard, come on.
You got long enough arms.
I try.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone. Everyone says digital.
Good.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you.
Awesome.